Karunakara Surindra Guruvarya Padambujam Navanita Natottam Sam Guru Pankti Shriyannumaha. The story of Andal. We have been listening to the stories of Azhwars, and the most important amongst Azhwars, who is also a lady, is Andal. Andal is known to be the incarnation of Bhumi Devi. It so happened that once Bhumi Devi was saved by Lord Varaha from the clutches of the demon Hiranyaksha. After this incident, Bhumi Devi and Lord Varaha had a conversation which has been recorded as the Varaha Purana. In the Varaha Purana, Bhumi Devi asks the Lord the way for emancipation of souls, or the way to attain moksha. Lord Varaha quotes a number of ways which can be pursued to please him, and pleasing him would grant moksha. Bhumi Devi chooses two of these means to please the Lord and decides that she would pursue these two means and take an incarnation to show mankind how to please the Lord. Which were these two ways? The first way was performing flower service or doing Poomalai Kainkaryam to the Lord. The second was performing song service or doing Pamalai Kainkaryam to the Lord. Bhumi Devi decided that she would incarnate as Andal and do Poomalai Kainkaryam and Pamalai Kainkaryam to the Lord and show people the way to please him in order to attain emancipation eventually. So, Bhumi Devi took the form of a beautiful baby girl and appeared in the flower garden or Nandavana of Periyalvar in the month of Adi when the star was Puram and it was a Tuesday. Periyalvar, who was doing dedicated flower service or Poomalai Kainkaryam to Lord Vatapatrashayi of Srivilliputtur, was thrilled to see this girl child in his garden. He thought she was a gift from the Lord himself. As he picked up the child, he felt she was beautiful and light like the garlands he was making for the Lord. So he decided to name her as Kodai, which means garland. Kodai grew up under the guidance of the devoted Periyalvar by listening to various stories of Lord Krishna. Periyalvar had composed the Periyalvar Tirumozhi, which speaks about each and every action of little Krishna and is also filled with verses regarding having conviction to the Lord. All these things had an impact on the young mind of Kodai, and she became extremely devoted to Lord Krishna. She would observe that her father Periyalvar would pluck fresh flowers from the garden, make beautiful garlands out of them, and submit them to the Lord every day. One day, she became curious to know how Perumal would feel by wearing these garlands. Would they be very heavy for him? How was he wearing them the whole day? Out of this inquisitiveness, she actually picked up the garland meant for Lord Vatapatrashayi and wore it around her neck herself. And she stood in front of the mirror and started admiring the beauty of the garland. She thought that this is indeed so soft, so fragrant, so comfortable. I am sure that Lord Vatapatrashayi is going to be very, very happy wearing this garland. Having this kind of an innocent feeling, Kodai placed back the garland into the basket which was meant to be taken to the temple. This incident of Kodai wearing the garland before it was being taken to the Lord repeated itself for a few days, unobserved by Periyalvar. But one fine day, Kodai was caught red-handed doing this. And Periyalvar was extremely disappointed and shocked looking at Kodai wearing the garland meant for the Lord. He said, "Oh child, you have made a great mistake. Whatever is meant for the Lord is not to be used by us first. We should offer anything which is good to the Lord first and get it back from Him as prasadam. It's not right for us to use something and then give it to the Lord. It is against the Shastras. Please do not do such a thing again," said Periyalvar, and being extremely saddened, he discarded this garland and plucked the remaining few flowers from his Nandavanam and made another garland for Lord Vatapatrashahi and took it to the temple. Somehow, that day, the garland was falling off from the neck of Perumal as and when it was being put again and again. This made Periyalvar even more sad. He thought that no wonder the Lord is not liking this garland now, because earlier the garland that was meant for him was worn by my daughter, which is a grave mistake. And I have also been instrumental in that mistake by being negligent about the entire incident. So no wonder Perumal is unhappy with the entire scene. So, thinking thus, Periyalvar went back home, fasted and slept. That night, he had a dream where Lord Vatapatrashahi appeared to him and said, "O Periyalvar, for the past few days, I have been enjoying the garland given by you even more than what I used to before. Do you know the reason? The reason is, for the past few days, your daughter Kodai has been wearing the garland and placing it back into the basket that you bring for me. So I enjoy the garland that has been worn by your daughter more than any other garland ever given to me. So please let this thing continue. Please bring the garland which has been worn by your daughter only. Today I rejected the garland you got for me because it was not the garland that Kodai had worn. You had discarded the garland that she had worn. So that is the thing that actually upset me. I desire the garland which is worn by Kodai." This dream revealed to Periyalvar that his daughter was not an ordinary one. From this day, he started calling her Sudi Koditha Sudar Kodi, means the one who wore the garland and gave it to the Lord. Sudi Koditha means the one who has given the garland worn by her. Sudar Kodi means beautiful creeper. Thus, this garland Kodai now became a beautiful creeper, Sudi Koditha Sudar Kodi. As Sudi Koditha Sudar Kodi grew up, her fondness for Krishna increased even more and she decided to get married only to him. She thought this is possible if her father would permit her and if her father would request Krishna to come down. விட்டு சித்தர் தங்கள் தேவரை வல்ல பரிசு வருவிப்பரேல் அது காண்டுமே. She was sure that her desire would get fulfilled with her father's blessings. Such a obedient daughter was Kodai. Periyalvar too thought that his daughter was not an ordinary one, so the Lord would definitely fulfill her wishes at the right time. But there was a time period between the right time, that is the time when Kodai would actually go and attain the Lord, and the current moment. So how to spend this time? Kodai had listened to a lot of stories about Krishna from her father, and she knew one incident where the Gopikas had performed something called the Katyayani Vrata in order to attain Lord Krishna. So she decided that she would also perform a similar vrata where her desired fruit would be the service of Lord Krishna or Lord Narayana, and the deity to whom she would pray for this purpose would also be Lord Narayana. Thus, performing this vrata, also called as the Margari Vrata or Pavai Nombu, she composed a beautiful set of 30 sonorous verses called the Tiruppavai. The Tiruppavai begins with a beautiful verse.
மார்கழி திங்கள் மதி நிறைந்த நன்னாளால் நீராட போதுவீர் போதுமினோ நெழியீர் சீர்மல்குமாய் பாடி செல்வச் சிறுமீர்கான் கூர்வேல் கொடுந்தொழிலன் நந்த கோபன் குமரன் ஏராந்த கண்ணி யசோதை இளம் சிங்கம் கார்மேனி செங்கண் கதிர்மதியம் போல் முகத்தான் நாராயணனே நமக்கே பறை தருவான் பாரோர் புகழப் படிந்தேலோரெம்பாவாய்.
In which Andal says, Narayanane Namakke Parai Taruvan. It is Lord Narayana who is going to grant us the desired fruit Parai, which is also Lord Narayana himself. This is the very crux of the Vedantas, the Upanishads. That is why the Tiruppavai is known as Veda Manaithukkum Vittu. It is a seed which contains all the essential meanings of the Vedas that is to be known in one's lifetime. So it is very important to learn Kodai's Tiruppavai. Composing the Tiruppavai pleased the Lord so much that he felt that this Kodai has indeed come to rule over me. So she must be called as Andal, the one who's ruling. Indeed, Andal came to rule over the Lord, to rule over him and get all of us the desired fruits that we want, even if the desired fruit is emancipation or moksha. She is the one who has come to rule over us, to rule and show us the right path, and also she is the one who has come to rule over the entire Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, for she is the one who uttered Koodiyirundu Kulindu. Let us all come together and enjoy the virtues of life, the virtuous path which leads to the Lord. Thus, Kodai attained the title Andal. Andal was very keen on marrying the Lord, and in order to achieve her dream, she started singing out to the Lord once again. And this time, her composition came to be known as the Nachiyar Tirumozhi, which has 143 verses. In the Nachiyar Tirumozhi, Kodai starts by saying that I am not meant for any man. I cannot get married to any man. If one even speaks about something like that, I shall cease to exist. Manidavarkendru Pechupadil Vazhagillen Kandai, she begins. She speaks of various pastimes of Krishna where he played with the gopis on the banks of the Yamuna. She talks to her friends and tries to find out by prediction as to when the Lord would come and get married to her. She tries to draw circles and see if they match with each other so that she would know the time when the Lord is going to come to her and wed her. Koodidu Koodale, she sings. Then she talks about sending a cuckoo as her messenger to the Lord and says if the cuckoo performs his job of a messenger effectively, then she would give her parrot as a present to the cuckoo so that they both could be friends and could always be together. Very beautifully, the Lord gives her the experience of her wedding in her dream itself. Andal dreams of her own wedding, where she sees each and every scene in detail. And this dream she has recorded in a set of beautiful 10 verses, which starts with the verse Varanamayiram. After this, she calls out the Lord's Shankha or Panchajanya and asks how the association of the Lord is, because it is the Shankha which never leaves the hand of the Lord and is always associated with him. So she wonders how it feels like to be constantly associated with Perumal. She tries sending the clouds as messengers to go and convey to the Lord that she is waiting for him very, very eagerly. She tries to send the rain and the seas also as her messengers. And then she sings about the Lord's present in Srirangam and Tirumaliranjolai and asks them when they are going to come and get the service that she's waiting to offering to them. She finally sings about Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, and once her outpourings are finished, the Lord decides that it is the right time for him to come down and wed Andal. So he gives instructions to Periyalvar that he must bring Andal to Srirangam, where he would get wedded to her. As Periyalvar obeys and takes Andal to Srirangam, she disappears into the sanctum sanctorum as soon as they reach the place. Periyalvar is shocked at this sudden happening. He was thinking that he would get his daughter married in a fantabulous manner and send her off with all kinds of gifts along with the Lord. But this wedding happened so suddenly that Periyalvar was a little taken aback, and so he requested the Lord and asked him to come down and get wedded to his daughter in an elaborate way as he had shown in Andal's tree. The Lord obliged, and then happened the celebrated wedding of Kodai and Ranganatha, which is famously known as the Andal Kalyanam. It is even said that before the wedding, something like a Swayamvara was arranged by Periyalvar, where all the lords of the 108 Divyadeshams were called by Periyalvar, and Kodai was told to choose from them, and she actually garlanded Ranganatha and made him her choice. This Utsavam is enacted even today at Srivilliputtur during the Brahmotsavam, where many Perumals from the surroundings come in their Garuda Vahana as a part of being invited for the Swayamvara conducted by Periyalvar, and from amongst these Perumals, Kodai chooses Rangamannar as her spouse. After this choice was made, an elaborate wedding where all the celestials were invited, and the wedding of Kodai and Ranganatha was spoken about and officialized. இந்திரனுள்ளிட்ட தேவர் குழாமெல்லாம் வந்திருந்தென்னை மகட்பேசி மந்திரித்து. Andal said in her words, and that actually happened later on. The wedding sari, which is the first gift given by the groom to the bride, is to be given by the groom's sister. It seems this also happened in Andal's wedding, and her wedding sari was draped on to her by her sister-in-law, who is none other than Maya Devi, who went into the Antariksha at the time of Krishna's birth. Because she went into the skies or Antariksha, she is called as Antari. Andal says, Andirakodi udutti manamalai andari suttakkana kandeen. This Andari is the one who draped the sari for her and made her wear her wedding garland. After this, all the celestial damsels came and performed the auspicious rites that were to be done for the bride and the groom. And then the Lord Rangamannar took her hand into his hand, thus doing Panigrahanam, and the wedding was completed. மைத்துனன் நம்பி மதுசூதன் வந்தென்னை கைத்தலம் பற்ற கனா கண்டேன் தோழி. After this celestial wedding of Andal and Rangamannar, everybody were in bliss. And even today, when we read the Varanamayiram, or when we speak about the Andal Kalyanam, or when we think about the Andal Kalyanam, then we are sure to be blessed with great lineages to come. Vayunan makkalai petru magilvare, says Andal. Andal is known as Mangala Devata, and reciting the pasurams composed by Andal can give us all kinds of pleasures, benefits, and satisfaction in life. Her own words which say this are Engum Thiruvarul Petru Inburuvar. So let us all pray to the lotus feet of Andal and get blessed. Kavitarkika Samhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.